Messages are powerful. However, messages are narrow in their perspective. Because a message, as I said, is a specific theme or idea that's extracted and then presented. And when we think biblically, and these are predominantly biblical or messages that came out of the scripture, all right? The problem with a message is that a message, because it's looking at one specific subject matter in the scripture, can be so narrow that it can be taken to the extreme and become error. So the word of faith message, which focuses on faith, can be taken to the extreme and become error. And guess what? In some places, it has. The message on healing can be taken to the extreme and become error. Are you with me? There could be a message on grace, and these are legitimate. The message on prosperity can be taken to the extreme and become error. A message on cultural mandate or Christ in culture or intercession or the prophetic or deliverance or hope or change or love or grace. Any of these messages can be taken to the extreme and become error. Remember the principle. Anything taken to the extreme becomes error, even truth. Most cults are simply based on a truth that has been taken to the extreme. So messages are narrow in their perspective. So what happens when a message is taken to the extreme, a lens is created that the person who has that lens of that message begin to see all of Scripture through that lens. So they can come across a verse that disagrees or contradicts the message. And they will try to twist that verse to make it fit or conform to their message. And when you begin to twist the scripture to make it conform to your message, you are in error. And it's a dangerous thing. Does that make sense to you? Again, messages are powerful. So what I realize that over the 39 years of walking with the Lord and 36 years in ministry and pastor, I have experienced all of these different messages. But what I was building in my own heart and in my church was not a message. You see, Christ in culture is a message that is associated with Christian Cultural Center. But my church is not built on a message. All these years, what I was doing, because I was pursuing truth, I was building a framework. A framework is a broad and basic structure that takes into consideration the whole body of biblical truth. So a framework says, okay, this is a verse on healing. That's good. I can believe that. But let me look at all of the other verses on healing and see if they all agree. And if they don't all agree, then I've got to say that I've got to be careful how I interpret certain verses that are related to healing. So a framework protects you from the extremes that can come from a message. And too often we are built on messages, and we move from one message to another, and we don't take the time to build a biblical framework. A framework becomes a lens that facilitates and influences perception and comprehension. A framework purposely looks at the context of the passage. And what else does the Bible have to say about this specific theme or idea? A framework gives you balance. And balance is the key to life, and balance protects you from extremes. In the New International Version, Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 18, it says that a righteous man, a man of wisdom and understanding, avoids all extremes. Balance is the key to life.